Glad you joined us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, and we continue our conversations about the draft with Chris Sims, NBC's very own Chris Sims, and we talked to him about the quarterback position, which he knows a little bit about, obviously, and wide receivers. Quarterback, obviously not a big need of the Cincinnati Bengals. Newsflash for everybody, but I'll tell you what, it's a deep draft of wideouts, and trying to improve that fourth, fifth wideout on the roster, there may be a candidate. Let's listen and see. All right, Chris, so let's start getting into some specific positions here. Let's start offensively. The quarterback position is well manned. I mean, Joe Burrow's pretty darn good. There's a newsflash. Joe Burrow can play. There's no doubt about that, right?
No doubt about it.
Yeah, and I don't think the Bengals are in the quarterback market as such, but in wide receiver, obviously they got a tandem, a duo of wide receivers that are very, very strong, young and talented. But maybe the fourth receiver in that receiver group, they may be looking to upgrade or improve. And like you said, the wide receiver position is so stacked. What do you think about when the Bengals may address the wide receiver position, and what kind of a player might be there?
I know, yeah. There'll be something there that can contribute. Again, I think with the depth of the overall class, it's just going to be about what, size, flavor, color they really want to go along with their, other receivers there. So I wouldn't think the Bengals are looking to go that route in round 1 or 2. I wouldn't think. I don't know. You know more than me. But I would think, I would think at some point, you might want to look at some depth and realize, wait, we might not be able to keep all these guys forever. So we got to, have something coming up the lines there. The guys that like jump out to me as being maybe that, like Jalen Tolbert from South Alabama. He's a guy that's got a little size and speed, has a body that's similar to a Tyler Boyd, but maybe a little bit not quite the route runner, but maybe a little more explosive ability. Are they looking for a slot guy like John Mechie from Alabama? He's a guy that I think could be their third, fourth round. He's not going to be like, oh, wow, let's line him up outside and he's going to run by people for 70 yards. No, but reading coverages the right way, running routes perfectly to a T. If you're looking for that guy in your offense, John Mechie is that, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman type of guy that can fill that type of role for your offense there. So he would be one that certainly jumps out to me that way. Gadget, weapon, awesome. One of my favorites, I should have mentioned this guy earlier, Calvin Austin III from Memphis, smaller guy, gadget guy, almost like a, Jakeem Grant, one of those type of guys, but I think there's real slot value to the player. He's 5'8", he's 170. He's got incredible acceleration and explosion. He plays stronger than his size. He'd be a guy that maybe is there in the third or fourth round that could be, a real pain in the butt and weapon in the NFL, a slot jitterbug, with also explosive ability. So there's a few names that I think jump out to me at least that could be possibilities.
And the way college football is throwing the football and spreading the football field, the wide receiver position in the last few drafts has been extremely deep, and that's going to continue, right? I mean, you have athletes that are marginal, or basketball athletes that are saying, well, I'm kind of a tweener size-wise for hoops, but man, I could really excel in football. You got some incredible athletes that are playing the wide receiver position now, coming out of high school, going to college, and then developing for that next level. Do you anticipate this wide receiver position, draft in and draft out, to be stocked and solid?
Pretty much, I do. It's the most popular sport in our country. Yep. I think you've made a great point. The guys that are like built like AJ Green that think they're going to play like forward or shooting guard in the NBA, they realize like, oh, wait, I'm not even big enough or tall enough to play those positions in the NBA. Let me go play receiver and do that. Certainly, receiver, the amount of money they're making, you can have a long career. That's going to bring greatest athletes there to you that way. I think running backs, as they get older, start to realize, wait, screw the running back position. Why would I want to get killed and only play for 4 or 5 years? Let me play receiver. I don't get killed, and I can maybe play for 10 years. So I think there's a lot of different things that play into that, certainly. But, yeah, there is just, as much as 7-on-7 and their camps and high school teams, the way they throw the football, there's just more development of these players too by the time they get to college and the pros. And that's what's so phenomenal and why these drafts are so deep. So it's a good point by you. And I think that will continue to flow like we've been seeing.
Chris, while we're talking about throwing the football, let's talk about the tight end position. Again, CJ Uzama moved on to the New York Jets. The Bengals made a signing in free agency to address the tight end position, but it could be, something that they look at in the draft. And I'm not sure first round, obviously, but do you think a tight end does get taken in the first round? And is Trey McBride a guy that could be value at 31, or is that a little bit too rich? And what do you think about the tight end position? When do you think the Bengals could address that?
I think nobody's worth a first round pick in my opinion. There's nobody there. Mid second round, like the kid from Ohio State, Jeremy Ruckert is my favorite tight end. I like Trey McBride a lot. The other name you brought up, he's a really good football player. He'd have been my number 2 tight end. I thought Ruckert had a little bit more blocking ability. That's why I made him 1. And he's similar to Freiermuth up in Pittsburgh from last year. I think that's about the range you'll start to see the tight ends go off the board, like mid-second. And yes, I mean, you said it. Hey, they signed Hayden Hurst. We know he's got talent. There's a reason he was a first-round guy, but hasn't put it all together. This is a team that, in the Bengals that I would think you guys do want to add another tight end to the roster. I think they're going to have people there second, third round, certainly, if they want to go that direction. End of the second round, I think you almost have your pick of your litter other than McBride and Rucker. That'd be the only guys I'd worry about maybe being off the board. Third round, you get into that category, I think there's going to be a lot to be had there at the tight end position. Now, you just got to pick which one you like and what you want, and who do you want to. Dolchich from UCLA is going to be awesome in the pass game, but's got some work in the run game and stuff like that. I don't know. Same with Charlie Kohler from Iowa State. Huge, big body, awesome in the pass game, doesn't block people very often. So there'll be some different things they can look at and attack there in the mid parts of the round at tight end.
At First Star Logistics, we're a very strict company that really puts the pressure on our employees. Breaks? What are those?
That's what I'm talking about, Icky. Get the body right, then the mind's right.
Gotta get that body right. That's right. Yes, sir.
Become a star with a chance to earn the highest commission percentages in the industry as a freight broker agent. Check out firststarlogistics.com.